This date is the date that changed my life and quite literally gave me PTSD, and I will never, ever, 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 ever forget it. 3 o'clock in the morning, about 20 squad cars, FBI, everybody you can think of. If he is real, then there's a hell. Where do you think you're going, right? Yeah. Not saying that in a negative way or like a scare tactic.
It's just fact.
I mean, it's
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I think it can happen to a lot of people sometimes. Is they'll go to a church for the first time, and then just the lesson the preacher happens to be preaching is just a really hard lesson, like something nobody wants to hear, and so they hear that the first time and they're just like, oh, they don't want me to be who I am. They don't just something like that.
All right. Anyways,
I'll keep mine on too, man.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Hey, match the energy.
Hey, yo, I got you, Chris.
Hey.
Bro.
No sunglasses.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. So episode 87, part 2. Suits is back with us again.
hey, pleasure to be here, gentlemen.
Yeah.
God
Welcome
is
back,
good.
man. Welcome
Pleasure to
back.
have you
So
back.
Hey,
before
thank you,
we
guys.
get into the meaty, grindy,
The
beautiful
roast beef.
stuff, what the fuck going on with Dr. Disrespect? Y'all seen that shit?
Dude,
Ooh,
yes.
yes.
It's
Unfortunate,
crazy,
bro.
He-
What's
For
his,
us
what's
and
his
his
name
family.
now?
Oh man.
Guy.
No.
Oh yeah, you know, disrespect for real.
Recently, I feel like there's been a lot of like people, famous people, just getting caught up with stuff like that, man.
Well, God's work, bro.
Yeah, indeed.
But also, did y'all see what Nick Merck said originally before he admitted to it?
Before, no, was he defending him?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't defending him, but he was just like, let's just wait until we find some proof, bro.
Right.
Like y'all need to chill. Like, let's just everybody's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah,
Instead of guilty before proven innocent. And that motherfucker came out and admitted to it.
and admitted
Hardcore. Like, he doubled down.
he did. You see his long post on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then all these people, Tim came out with a video, kind of like saying he's parting ways with him. Ninja.
And that's something else I wanted to ask y'all.
Oh,
Do
yeah,
y'all
big
think
streamers.
they're parting ways for real? Like, I'm not gonna talk to you no more, or do you think they're just parting ways professionally? So like, content wise, they're not gonna make content with him anymore or anything like that. But you think they're still gonna be there for him?
Probably not.
I think they're done, bro.
I think they're done.
Yeah.
I think all communications are cut.
I feel like, I mean, if you think about it, technically they're all streamers and stuff, so their professional life is the same as their everyday life. So it's like, the only difference is they're not going to go to the same events.
I feel like they really can't communicate with them because
They'll find out.
It's or like they'll be like, yo, you're still talking to this
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
predator, bro.
And then you're guilty by association, which is the crazy part.
Exactly, bro.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's crazy stuff, man. Me and Nick actually had a conversation the other day. I think it was probably yesterday. We were like, all these people that have money and all this fame and clout and all this, audience, you would think they would be able to get somebody their age. Or of age.
Anyone they want.
Why do they have to, you know what I'm saying? Why do they have to go to the bottom of the barrel?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's weird. I don't get it. Because you see, like you said, it's just a common occurrence in famous people. So, I mean, I don't know.
Fruit ain't even ripe yet, man.
I wonder if it's just because they're famous.
Bar. God did.
I wonder if it's just because they're famous. That's why I wonder how much it actually happens just everyday life.
Dude.
Dude.
I ain't gonna lie. Part of my hiring process for these people is checking to see if they're a sex offender, and sometimes people with the same name pop up, so I have to go in and like make sure, look at like pictures and stuff. And sometimes the curiosity gets the better of me, and I go in there and like look at their crime and shit, and it's like it's public information, but it's like 6-year-old girl or like 8-year-old girl, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That really, really, really ticks me off, man.
No, for real, bro.
That's insane, dude.
There's a special place for them.
Yeah. Have we had this conversation before on the pod?
Mm-mm.
Like anything related to this?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. I feel like it makes me so mad because I have little sisters, and I just can't imagine anything like that. I cannot. I think I'd go crazy, dude.
Hey, it ties it back to the first episode, though, where we were talking about where you guys were saying you don't want to have kids because of this stuff. So, I mean, that's a very valid reason.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't mention that last episode, but that is scary in
Very,
itself.
very.
In itself, a father, I have 2 sons, thankfully. Not that that's going to be anything different because there's people out there that don't care.
Right.
But it is one of those things where it's kind of unsettling.
Very much so. Yes.
You know, it's like you never know who these people are, or you know, it's wild. It's really is wild. It's like people, for some reason, they have this urge to. Maybe I don't know. Is it the innocence that I don't know what they see, but it's wild. You know, I don't get it.
It's hard to even think about, really.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I know we're gonna get into the nitty and gritty about, you know, how God changed my life and stuff. And I do want to preface this, touching on the subject is kind of it brings up experiences that I've went through where it was traumatizing. And you'll understand what that means coming up, but it's wild for sure.
Usually I don't like silences, but I feel like that one was necessary. Just let it sink in.
No, it's like I said. We're getting into the nitty gritty on this episode. Like I'm all open and I'm all game for it. Just beware. Like it's very, and maybe some of it you might not even want to post.
Right. Yeah.
To be completely honest.
Or again, if you think about it like later, because this isn't coming out it's not coming out this Sunday. It's coming out next Sunday.
Cool.
So if you think about it and you're just like, nah, bro, I don't want that out there. I'll be like, okay.
If anything, it's just more of a conversation for ourselves.
Sure.
Yeah.
Genuinely
Today,
it is.
just
Yeah,
for each
genuinely
other.
it is actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't have any, like I said, I don't have any problem sharing it with you guys, especially if it's, you know, to the severity of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the craziest story, and it's something quite literally out of a movie. But hey, here we are. God did.
God did, bro.
God did.
I'm gonna steal that shit for real, bro. That's hard.
It's so contagious, bro, and it's such a blessing to be able to say it because like it's like when you say that you give all your authority away. You don't have to worry about nothing. Does that make sense?
No, that didn't
It's
make
like
sense.
you
God
know,
did.
I got to pay my bills. God did.
Well, you know, that's hard actually. Wait, what?
God did. You know.
I was talking to my mom because she was we were driving to Conroe yesterday and she was listening to the pod on the way there, and she was like, wow, like I just love hearing like young men like talking about this kind of stuff, and I was like, yeah, and then I was like, it's kind of like weird because I feel like whenever you're not born into the religion, you just like love it so much more, and I feel like sometimes I'm like, dang, you know. If I was born into it, I feel like I'd be a much better Christian than I am being born into it. But I mean, no one's perfect anyways. But
I think it goes back to the journey because one, you're conditioned a certain way. Everybody's conditioned a certain way due to their environment. I'll say this. The people that people relate to are people that are not in the most ideal situations. Like me going through what I went through is a testament in itself. It's a testimony, right? It's something that maybe somebody out there, because if you look at it this way, God saves the sheep, right? The one person, the 1 out of 100. He saves those people because that one person can have the audience of millions because of who they are, what they went through, and their relatability. So me having all these outlooks at my age and kind of what I went through, I'm not saying this to put myself on a pedestal or nothing, but it's a lot more people can see the authenticity rather than somebody that was born into it because, oh, well, you didn't do anything wrong. You're so perfect. So how can I relate to somebody like that? Like, that's a real thing. And people get turned away from the church because of that, and it sucks. Not that there's anything against that person or the preacher or anything like that. God works in mysterious ways every single day. And, maybe one day you guys might come across somebody or something like that you would be like, damn, imagine if this person was in my position.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to whatever that may be to you guys, like, I wonder what he's going through. But by you knowing what he's going through, that opens the door up for so many people. Behind the scenes, people allow people to see what they want them to see.
Yeah.
Everybody. Relationships, personal life. We don't know what battles we're going through. God does.
P. Diddy.
Exactly. But it's being brought to light now.
Yeah.
It's there. Now, the thing is the enemy will protect those people in a certain way to a certain extent, but there's no greater authority than God. Period.
That makes you so happy.
No, it's beautiful, man. And I really do. Like, I had a prayer and everything like this. I prayed twice today because I actually had something else at work that was pretty significant that I'm working on as well. Love to share it in the future. When it comes out, it's going to be dope. But praying, man, it makes things so much easier. It really does. Like you say, you guys didn't really have like any not say so, excuse me, that's the wrong verbiage. Like you guys are not the best at it, right? And I put myself in your guys' shoes. I was the same way. Like I went to I told you this last time, but I didn't say it on the pod. I go to a church where they don't speak English. And God gave me this, he put this sentence in my head. Whenever I felt that experience, I felt him, I just went down to my knees and I started crying. How beautiful is it to go to a place of no understanding, but presence?
See, that is crazy though. Cause you don't have the translators, right?
Nothing.
But you don't know the language.
No.
So you basically just feed off the energy then.
Yeah.
That reminds me of there was a parable in the Bible. I don't remember who the preacher was, but somebody was preaching to probably hundreds of different languages, but the miracle was everyone there understood what he was saying.
Oh, I do.
That's one of the most infamous verses in the Bible. Yeah, everybody was speaking their own tongue, but they all understood each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, not to misquote any scripture or anything like that, but that's the story.
I do remember that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's
The
profound.
languages go all the way back to the Tower of
Tower
of Babel,
Yeah.
trying to cheat the way to heaven.
And it's crazy too, because these people that are really walking in faith, these people get, excuse me, Chick-fil-A, man.
Be like that.
No facts.
God's chicken.
Closed on
Chick-fil-A.
Sunday.
What came first, chicken or the egg?
You my Chick-fil-A. Anyways, these people that are really in their faith and these people that are actually doing things and stuff or whatnot, they're being used by God. Each and every one of us is being used by God, whether we believe him or not.
Oh yeah.
And whether we think we are, it's the truth. I planted a seed one time at Starbucks with him, and without even knowing him, realizing or anything like that, after we had the conversation about God, because this is when I was really into it, like really in the midst of it, on the wall of Starbucks, there's a seed getting grown, like a painting. It's still there that we didn't even notice. I mean, he can tell you, it was the craziest thing. I had chills. I was like, whoa, like it's wild. The small things, but it shows that he's with us no matter where we go. He's our rock. And, it's just the tongue thing. It's crazy how people can speak these tongues and people can translate it. They have no idea what they mean, but they're a vessel. It's the spirit.
Before you continue, Dev, you said the languages lead back to the what?
Tower of Babel. You don't know the Tower of Babel?
No,
I'll sum it up pretty easily. Basically, there was way back in the Bible times, there were people trying to cheat getting to heaven by building a tower all the way up, because they just thought heaven was just up there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were just trying to build a tower up there, and then basically God obviously didn't like that. So what he did is made different languages. So nobody up there could understand each other anymore. So they couldn't finish.
They couldn't continue.
Yeah, they couldn't work together to build it anymore.
Yeah, it's actually in the first book, Genesis. It talks about that because it gives you an idea of the background of why there is different languages and how powerful we actually are if we all unite as one. Which, everything in that book is legitimate. It's truth. It's from eyewitnesses from years, and there's validity in that. Like I said last time, I asked the subject, like the question, like there has to be some type of validity to it if billions of people believe in it, right?
Yeah.
There's just no way there's not. There's just not. It's impossible. And I saw a video where the first people on Earth, like the first letter or the name, like Adam, Eve, Cain, all them, it's actually like a cross reference of like first people ever of like saying God is coming. 0-5. 0-5. But yeah, there's thousands of cross references from each book that have no correlation, but if you really look at it, it's like, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Well, I don't know if you knew, but I'm actually reading it for the first time.
Okay.
Trying to read it cover to cover. I read all of Genesis, and then I was watching a podcast, and Cliff was like, some people need to start with the Gospels. So Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John.
Yeah.
And So I finished. So I just skipped to those. So I finished. I was getting bored, honestly. So I was watching, or I just finished Mark. I'm on like Luke 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think of it so far?
I think it's so interesting, bro. I think it's so interesting. Now sometimes I'm wrong because the top when I choose to read it is in the sauna because I think about burning in hell. No, I'm playing, but I was like,
That's some heat.
yeah, no, but I do think about that every time I'm sitting in there reading it though. But anyways, so yeah, I do wrong. I still have to sometimes when I'm in the sauna, I'm like, I just kind of want to sit here and like do nothing. I'm like, I should probably read it. Like today, bro. Today, fuck, the devil was trying to mess with me, bro. I was in the sauna. I was reading it. I lost internet connection, and I was like, damn. I was like, well, guess I'm not reading it today. And then I go to open my chess app, which I forgot uses internet, and boom, all of a sudden my internet comes back, and I'm like, yeah, you thought you was gonna get my
Crazy
ass.
how that
You
works.
thought you was gonna get my ass, and then I fucking went back
Crazy.
and
It's a real thing,
Yeah.
man. It is a real thing. Like distractions, everything, they pop out of nowhere whenever you start to read the Bible.
Have y'all seen what's his name? Homeboy from Mr. Beast. Cool.
Oh
the
yes,
cool
dude.
one.
Yeah, he
Chandler.
started. Yeah,
Chandler doing daily verses
On
now.
TikTok,
That's
yep.
hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's
What are
so
they doing?
that I love that.
Chandler from Mr. Beast. He literally said like, God just wanted me to share a verse every single day.
I love that.
Oh,
I mean, I don't even know if it's his thought process at all, but with Chris doing
I was
everything wrong he's doing,
Thinking the same thing.
Chandler just more and more you just see him more and more gospel God coming out of him as Chandler or Chris gets worse and worse. And not Chris, Carl. My bad, bro.
Think of it this way, bro.
Chris, you're right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it is
Chris.
Who's Carl?
Carl's
Carl's the
the
other
other guy.
one.
I don't watch Mr. Beast.
The other
Good
one.
stuff, man.
That sounds
Knowing
messed up.
everything about Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I like
Little
Mr. Beast,
12-year-old.
bro. I like Mr. I don't give a fuck. His content's for kids, but I like it.
But no, that's so awesome. He
Yeah.
started coming up on my TikTok. My TikTok is getting more and more religious.
Oh,
now.
mine's like every 1 in 5 isn't religion, and I'm just like, this is dope.
Yeah. It just imagine though, because like I said, God works in mysterious ways, and by Chandler doing that, what better person and group to have that platform other than Mr. Beast?
especially
Beast.
when the younger generation is
That, and
his
it's like
following.
imagine when it gets to that level where Chris actually comes back and finds God.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna happen. It is. I mean, it's.
Hopefully,
I don't know
sooner
his
than later.
plan. I don't claim to know his plan, but dude, it's. I mean, I can already see it clear as day. I mean, he's doing that for a reason. God told him to do it. He's doing it. Sooner or later, chess pieces will start to move,
Yeah, that's gonna be dope.
and that's like I said. He has how many subscribers, Mr. Beast?
He passed T-Series.
What's that? 180?
Hundreds of millions. So.
Huh?
180?
No, he's
around
at
there?
230 or 40, bro.
And he's on different continents and stuff too now and stuff like
He reaches. He's
Dude.
worldwide.
that boy got dubs
Worldwide.
now. Y'all seen that?
you
yeah.
got what?
Dubs now.
Mm-hmm.
Like Spanish
Oh,
dub,
yeah.
fucking Portuguese dub. Yeah, it gets crazy.
Imagine being a Mr. Beast
Even
translator.
super swole guy that used to be for Mr.
Viking?
Neon. Yeah,
The Viking? Yeah.
he's hard against them. He'll say stuff all the time,
Yeah. I
just from
see
a
that.
fatherly aspect.
What Viking?
He was a super swole
The big
dude.
The big guy
Like looks
from
like a
Mr. Beast.
looks like a
Liver
Viking.
King?
Huh?
Are you talking about Liver King?
I don't know what his actual thing is.
Yeah.
Does he have like a beard and he's like 5'6"?
Oh, no. He
Oh,
was
okay.
like big, tall, Jag. Used to be in all the Mr. Beast videos.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't watch him back then. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh.
I'm a late bloomer.
You watch him?
Oh yeah, dude. His videos are entertaining. Every 3 seconds, it's a new slide.
See, because all these motherfuckers are these two right here.
I've
Hate
never
on me
said
for it.
No, I've never.
Yes, you have.
Jake the Viking.
Maybe it was him. Maybe it was him. Maybe it was just
Dude, some of his videos, bro. I mean, he's got. Oh, okay. I know who that is. Yeah, dope.
Oh, that shirt is hard.
Facts.
That
Hey.
beard is hard.
I just want a beard,
Wow.
man.
Tattoo is.
Can you grow a beard, or you just no you? No, I know.
Oh,
you can.
okay.
Dang.
Why'd you see your baby face? So
Oh yeah, I can grow a beard.
okay, you just
Yeah,
choose not to?
I literally used to have a beard and then I just shaved it off.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's just I want to look younger than what I actually want to look like. So
okay.
I have my grandma. She was 60 and she looked like 30.
Okay.
So I mean, I have good genes.
Broke
I
out
mean, it's
the
Italian
genes.
and stuff. So shout out to my Italians. I was gonna say something, but that's only in German. So hey, shout out to Germany, man. Y'all are doing y'all's thing, bro.
Oh yeah.
Keep on supporting, man. One day, these gentlemen right here, they're gonna be on the big stage.
Hey, and you know what? Well, our first live show will be in Frankfurt.
There,
Yeah,
hey,
look at that.
whoever's in
huh?
Frankfurt right now,
Yo, hold
we
on.
need an Airbnb. We'll
Logistics.
fly
Hold
out
on.
there.
Yo,
Episode.
No, we got it. I know people live there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I'll
Come
call
on.
fucking Thomas Tuchel.
There you go.
ooh,
bro.
Thomas, you're a real one.
Actually, well, no, he ain't there no more. I'll call Vincent Company.
Oh, Vincent.
I'll call
you're a real
Michael.
one. Huh?
We'll,
Alright,
have, we'll
James.
have some guests on the pod.
Dude, that would be
There, man.
fire.
That would
Imagine.
be.
From Germany,
Like,
that's
all I'm saying
crazy.
is hit us up.
Hey,
We'll see.
leave a comment in the
We'll
comment
look into
section.
We'll fly you out. Production team got it.
What's up, production team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding it down back there, baby.
Ain't
My
nobody
boy.
back there.
Straight up.
Nobody.
Anyways, yeah, but let's get into some nuts and bolts. I don't want to.
So the main thing that I was like, especially because even my mom was watching it, she like brought up, she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "I don't know." So what's about this no technology for 6 months or 3 months or whatever how long you said,
Cool. Yeah. So
if you don't mind.
no, of course. And like I said, even when I'm saying stuff, I'm gonna make sure I'm saying it right and stuff. So on December 5th of last year, 2023, I was in an apartment. It was my first ever apartment. I moved in. I moved my mom in. I moved my uncle and her boyfriend in the same apartment because me and my wife were together. She had an apartment across the road, like same complex, right? So as
Same
a
complex you live in now?
no,
Okay. Gotcha.
yeah, it was a different one. And so before that, I'll just give you some backstory as well. So my mom passed away about a month and a half, maybe 2-3 months prior. 44 years young, COVID pneumonia tore her up. She just got out of a facility. She was ready to go. She was ready to change her life, do all the things that she should have done, right? Unfortunately, it was her time, right? God needed her to go for whatever the reason may be. I mean, it was a lot of character building for myself. So that happened about 3 months prior to December 5th of 2023. This date is the date that changed my life and quite literally gave me PTSD, and I will never, ever, 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 ever forget it. So, like I said, I moved my uncle. I moved everybody into my apartment. And my setup, my gaming setup, everything was all over there. I had internet, everything was all in my name. So, what happened is 3 o'clock in the morning, about 20 squad cars, FBI, everybody you can think of, Montgomery County, everything. They had a warrant to search the house. And at this day, I was with my girlfriend, my wife. I stayed the night at her house. About 3 o'clock in the morning, get a phone call. She answers it, of course, because she's like, well, her being a woman, who the hell's calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Right.
So she answers it, and it's the police department. Hey, we're at your residence. Can you come down here real quick? So I go down there. It's like I'm dressed out because I know I have to go to work. At this time, I was at the bank. And show up. I'm like, what the? There's literally 20 squad cars. The whole apartment, parking was filled with cops' cars,
Wow.
4 deep, every single one of them. And I see my uncle walking with one of the, I guess, the FBI agents or whatever, the investigative people. I don't know what their title was, but I get there, I park. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what happened? And they're like, here, come talk to me. And these were investigators or whatnot. And they pulled me in the car. They had a camera on their dash, and they had like a little microphone as well. They were like, do you know what's going on? I was like, no, ma'am. She's like, okay, long story short, this is the craziest stuff that ever happened to me, and it's still crazy talking about it. They said that, long story short, that there is being downloaded child pornography from that IP address.
Wow.
Holy shit.
So I'm like, whoa, okay. You sure this is the right place? And they're like, yeah, we have on this date, there has been confirmed downloads of child pornography. And I'm like, okay. I'm so, at this point, I'm so lost because it was just like left field.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
got-
just getting over my mom passing, like completely. They just happened back to back,
Right.
like instantly.
Mhm.
And I'm like, is this like? I at this point, I'm like, I still don't believe it's true.
right.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, how is that possible? And they pulled out a piece of paper that said there was about 1,500 files downloaded of child pornography,
What the fuck?
Wow.
extreme videos. just to give you an idea. I didn't see anything. I like I said, I don't know anything. I don't know. And we'll get into it a little later on because there's a lot of stuff that still does not make sense. And it just doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. So that goes on. They're trying to get me to confess to something I did not do, like whatsoever.
100%.
They're trying to scare tactic me. They're trying to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. I'm like, I'm telling you what I did. They are like, how did you build your computer? This, and this. I literally said, a buddy built it. I was at his house. He helped me build it. I don't know anything about that, which is true. I mean, the person is here, right? I don't know anything technical about these computers. I just know how to utilize it. I play video games. It's all I do. And they're like, well, it says that yesterday it was deleted. The hard drive, everything. I was like, well, that's weird because I was with my wife. Okay. And they were just like, well, I told them this. I was like, look, the only thing I've done on my computer is factory reset it because it was running slow. I had CapCut. I had all these programs, games, Steam, Adobe Express, Photoshop, everything on there because this is when I was starting my business. So it was all on my computer and it made it run slow. And I factory reset it like 5-6 months prior, something like that, 4 months, something. And they're like, well, you're telling me you don't know how to factory, they were just trying to manipulate my words,
Sure.
which is what they do. That's their job because,
They gotta try
whatever.
to get
you.
Exactly. They have
some
to
way.
pin it on somebody. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I literally just told you verbatim, this is what I did. I told him verbatim without even stuttering, nothing. Like, this is what I had, this is what I did, this is what I did. And get out the car, and I see my uncle walking back. So they bring us into my apartment. They sit us both down, and they were like this. They put the little camera and the little microphone right there.
Damn.
Right where
So,
my
like,
setup
full ass
was.
disposition, like right there.
The hole in the middle. There was,
Whoa.
I kid you not. And this was given like 5-6 in the morning, maybe 7 o'clock. It felt so long, but so
Right.
it felt long, but fast.
Yeah.
They set us down they're like, hey, look, we're going to either take both of you guys to prison for life or we're going to take one of you guys to prison for life. And to give you guys context, my baby was not born. My son was about 7 months in the womb, right? So he was still a
Cooking.
fetal, right? He was still cooking. And they're like, we're going to take both of you guys to prison because of that many counts, 1,500 of child porn to the extent that it was at is prison for life. No ifs, ands, or buts. So they're like, we're either going to take both of you guys or we're going to take one of you. Either way, we're going to figure out who did it. And I kid you not, as they're saying this, my uncle is right here and I'm right here. As soon as she said that, I broke the hell down.
Of course you did.
I broke down so bad. I'm like, I told them, and they seen it. Like, there was no denying it about it. It was, I said, I just lost my mom. I'm trying to make a family, build something. I don't have nothing. I moved my family into my apartment. I don't understand how this is happening. Like, I'm trying to hold stuff together. I don't have a family. This is what I have left. I'm trying to build. I did not do this. Period. Crying.
Yeah, of course.
And they looked at my uncle and he didn't say anything. He had no remorse, didn't cry, nothing.
Wow.
He was just, that's it. And so they're like, all right, cool. And given at this time, I was reading my Bible, not to the extent of after this whole situation happened. The craziest thing, and I'll never forget this, is he was, I hold no grudge against the man. He was like, I told him I read my Bible. And when he was leaving the door, he was like, go read your Bible some more. And I was like, are you serious? Like, to myself, I'm like, talking about it just shakes me up still.
Yeah.
And so that happened. So they took my computer, my MacBook, my brand new 15 Titanium. They took my other phone that I had. They took every electronic that you can think of besides a web camera, my HD Logitech, whatever, webcam.
Yeah.
And they didn't take controllers. But long story short, so that happens. And I go to work still the same day. And this is what happened. I get in my car whenever they're leaving. My uncle walks up to the car. He's like, hey, don't go to work. I can't stay here by myself. I'm like, I have to go to work. I have to get money. I'm about to have a kid. He's like, call in. I'm like, how am I going to call in? They just took our phones. He's like, oh. So walks back inside. At this point, I'm trying to hold my stuff together. I'm not trying to have anybody at work know what just happened because
Yeah.
anyways, so I go to work. I kid you not. I'm chilling. I put it behind me for 2 hours. It's 11 o'clock lunchtime. Guess who comes walking into the door? My uncle.
Oh.
Doesn't drive, doesn't leave the house for nothing. Didn't know where I even worked. He shows up. He's like, I can't be at the house by myself. And at this point, given the lady that was interrogating us or whatever to try to see who was guilty, she said, give me a call if anything happens or he testifies. So I give her a call. They send 2 police officers up there. It's a big ass scene at my work. Excuse my French. And I'm like, oh my God. So he got escorted out the building. And at this point, all my coworkers are like, what's going on? So I couldn't tell him nothing at the point because I had to tell my manager. I'm like, hey, because she thought it was a joke. She, I kid you not, she thought it was a joke because I work there. They know who I am, my personality.
Yeah.
Are you like, whatever. I'm like, come here, like now, like I'm so serious. In the break room, she called, she has a paralegal or something like that. They called like the police, Huntsville PD. They show up to the, workplace and escort him out. And she's like, that's crazy. Like you need to do something, like whatever. Like I can say this 1,000,000,000%. Everybody that knows me actually knows me and actually has been around me. They know I did not do this. So at this point, it's my word against his word. So that's kind of how it went. So I had to seclude myself from him. This is when Christmas was happening. My birthday, his birthday, nothing. Like it was Christmas hit. I felt so bad because he bought presents and stuff. And at this point, my whole life, I have been like this with my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in baby pictures of me. He's looked out for me. He's always lived with me, everything. Now, to throw context in it, that the warrant, the affidavit, or whatever you want to call it, it did not make sense. Right? There was a lot of typos, and I had to buy an attorney. Thankfully, God works in mysterious ways. He gave me probably the best person to do it pretty much for free because I did not have money. Lawyers for this type of case, $60,000 easy. $60K easily. I sit down, have a consultation with him, and he's like, oh, you're young. He could tell I was shaking up. Talked to him, he asked me some questions. He's like, all right, I'm going to help you. I could already tell. And the crazy part is they were trying to blame it on me because it was on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say I was literally so traumatized and to the point where I was like, my future is gone for something I did not do, like, there's no feeling in the world like that situation scenario put against you. I've never gotten a ticket. I've never, I've never been that kid. I've always been in my room playing video games. And then this comes out of nowhere right after losing my mom. And at this time, I'll bring this up. I was starting something with Nick and Hunts, this little group called the Light Switch. And this literally happened, and I literally showed up while this was happening to tell them, like, hey, look, I am not going to let this stop my life. I did not do this. I want to do this because this is something that is going to benefit me and everybody around it. Like, this is what I need. I can't just sit at my house all day. I'm innocent. I know this. God knows this. Everybody knows this that actually knows me. Now, like I said, it's a very, 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 very taboo thing to talk about. And we just talked about the Dr. Disrespect thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is even worse because this was child porn.
Right.
Yeah.
And all I'll say is it literally, I told you last time, I got to the Bible because that was the only place I could go. Period. There was nobody else that was in my position that could tell me how to feel. My wife, I love her to death. She couldn't tell me nothing because she was under the assumption that maybe that seed was planted that maybe I did do this. She has a kid she's gonna have my kid. It's only human nature. She's
Right.
a mom, right?
Yeah, mama bear.
She had that thought, and now she was panicking and stuff. She was still pregnant and stuff, and it was the worst situation ever. Like I cannot imagine anybody else other than myself going through that, because I know how I handled it. And he could tell you because he was there. He was there. Like, not physically when it happened, but after the fact, because we were doing stuff. It was, like I said, it was just losing my mom to that. I just don't see how, you know what I'm saying? It's especially to that extreme.
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible. Like, I'm at a loss of words still, because it still doesn't make sense. And we can talk about this all day. I can tell you all the details. I can show you proof. I can show you everything. The dates that they were confirmed downloads, I was at work. I have proof, receipts. I'm very detail oriented. I have receipts. I have everything. Like, I can tell you exactly where I was each one of those days, because I keep stuff like that. So just off of that alone, and I can show you guys, like,
I believe you.
no, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like, I can show you guys, and I showed my attorney that, and he was like, dude, like, this is crazy that this is there. Even if anybody has a brain looks into this,
Yeah.
you could tell off the rip. The photo itself just tells alone, right? But you can't really judge a photo or a book by its cover. But the details and the receipt was there, all of them.
Yeah.
So it that's what happened. Just to give you an idea. And I recently just got a computer. What, last 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Pretty much when you started playing.
Pretty much when I started playing again. So it's been that long.
That's why
Yeah.
you've been on the game so much, huh?
Dude, it's and that's where the appreciation comes back to play,
Mhm.
because that is all I knew. It's still all I kind of know, right? I'm just growing, I'm evolving as an adult, as a man. But that is all I did from as soon as I can remember to when that happened. That has always been my life. And to get it stripped away, don't get me wrong, it was the biggest dopamine detox, and it was very much appreciated
Mm-hmm.
from that aspect, because, dude, I was reading books, I was reading the Bible, I had energy, I didn't have any brain fog, nothing. Like, it was beautiful in that sense. But the extent that it went to and how it happened was absurd. Period. So that's what happened, to give you an idea.
It's crazy that sirens pass by as we were talking about.
I
this.
know. I
That
was
is
thinking the
crazy.
same thing.
'Cause I remember you talking about, like, every time you would hear sirens.
Dude, oh my, yes. So when this was happening, I kid you not, I was staying, my wife's mom allowed me to stay with them, because they knew you know what I'm saying? They know.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. Everybody knows. Period. And there would be sirens and stuff, because it's on MLK, the ghetto, right? Every time I heard a siren, my heart would start pounding, because they were saying I did it. It was on my computer. Just off of that alone, I'm able to be taken for fault.
So do you, real fast, do you blame the officers or agents or whatever? Or, like, do you have resentment towards them, or no, because they're just doing their job? Out of curiosity.
No, man, I don't have any, and this is part of being a Christian and being a new creature in
Oh, yeah.
Christ. It's,
Mhm.
you have to forgive.
Forgive and forget.
You have to
Yeah.
forgive. And at the time they were doing their job, I did nothing wrong. God knows this, and I'll say it
Dude,
every
thank
single time.
Fucking God, you didn't, like, or, like, you knew that and you stood your feet down.
I did,
yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, and this is where I read one of the verses in the Bible where it's like, there's three sides to the story. Everybody has their own side. Everybody's going to take their own side, because in your eyes, it's right. So
Yeah.
there's three sides. You have that person's side, you have my side, and you have God's truth.
Mm.
And God's truth
Mhm.
always comes out at the end. Always. Period. It says in the Bible. And that's, like I said, it got me so into the Bible, man. I took it, like, I have it in my car, on my dash, everything. Like, everywhere I go, everywhere. Because he's there. I kid you not, that is the only place I could turn to. Not that I couldn't trust my wife. We were in it together. She got brought into it, unfortunately. Bless her soul. But it was being ambitious, knowing that I have potential, that I could change people's lives for the better, and having to think about the stories that people go through that actually do that crime in prison or jail, whatever, how people knock their teeth out and use them as, that is terrifying. I'm 5'6". I look decent as a guy. I would get destroyed. I just would. I mean, there's no other way of
Especially
putting
for
it.
something you didn't do.
Exactly. And that's what was the hard, like I said, that was the hardest thing I had to cope with. And like, really, like I did not do it, but the fact that my wife, you know, had that seed plant in her head that these people are just doing their job.
Your image.
Exactly. It would be ruin my life forever. I would not be able to do anything. I would be in a cell, probably dead. Probably dead. And the thing is that the whole situation, it's still going on, because in these type of situations, they have up to 7 years to search electronics. 7 years. So it's not like there's a case or anything. I didn't get arrested, nothing like that. It is literally just an affidavit and a warrant to search the apartment and the technology. I still have yet to get any of my stuff back, nor do I want to get it back, because if that was the case, throw it away, destroy it.
Tainted,
I don't give a crap. Like, I'm still paying my phone bill for, bleep that out because I don't want them knowing they, you know, the service provider. I'm still paying on a 15 titanium, a MacBook
If you don't even have
that I don't have and I can't get rid of because I signed an agreement stating I have to pay them.
Man, it's crazy that you haven't gotten any updates on anything.
Zero updates. So when my attorney was helping me with this whole situation, I haven't talked to him in a while because I called him when I had my son in the hospital. I'm like, hey, I just had my son. I just wanted to let you know, like, have you heard anything? He's like, man, just enjoy your life. You're innocent. You didn't do nothing. Move on. That's literally what he told me. And this is, bleep out his name. His name is, you probably know him, probably. I don't
Sounds
know.
Familiar.
He's
That sounds
one of the
familiar.
top dogs. He's stellar in this thing. Like, my mentor knows who he is. Like, that's the type of level that he's at. And he was just like, we went to, I don't even know what it's called, like the district attorney's office or something like that, right beside like the courthouse. We walked in there. He said he's never done this to anybody. He went in there. Out of all the cases he's did, brought me in there. Is like, look, this kid's innocent. Like, what's going on? All they gave us was a couple of 2-3 emails that were no help at all. And then the person that came out was like, there's still an active investigation going on. We can't disclose any information.
So can you even legally talk about this?
Yeah,
public?
I mean, what do you mean?
Like, is this allowed? Like, obviously you can
I
tell
mean,
us
so
personally, but
he wanted me to literally go to like the courthouse and all this stuff and tell people my experience of what's going on to an innocent kid, so that these people that are in there right now can get the hell out. Literally, that's what he told me.
Yeah.
Because these people being in there, like the judge that signed off on the affidavit, is not a good judge from his words. I don't know anybody. I don't know. Like I said, that's not my world. That is not, I play video games.
Why would you have to know anything about
Exactly.
him?
I've never gotten in trouble legally, ever. Not a ticket, nothing.
Yeah.
He was like, go tell your experience, tell people how Huntsville has treated you, this, and this. You're a good kid, innocent, and they're trying to throw this on you. So, and he told me verbatim, and this killed me at first when it first happened, because I've always been like this with my uncle. It's his word against yours. You have to not interact with him whatsoever, because if somebody's going to jail, it's not you. And the craziest part is everything still didn't add up, right? Imagine my uncle was innocent or is innocent right now. Still, like, you know, maybe somebody got a hold of our IP or something. What, I don't know. There's some crazy nerds today. Like, people do crazy stuff. So
probably not that hard, honestly.
that's what I'm saying. And, you know, I don't know what happened, but imagine he's innocent. He's by himself. He doesn't have money. He's on fixed income monthly. How is he supposed to afford this? If he goes to prison, oh, he's killing himself. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I mean, he couldn't survive either. I mean, I'm being dead serious. It's it.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry that you had to go through that. You're going through this right now.
And this is where back to first episode, blessing in disguise comes in, because this whole situation made me grow so much so quick, exponentially, like faster to being a dad. I kid you not.
Of course it did.
It gave me appreciation. It gave me perspective. It gave me a story to tell. It gave me so much, built so much character. And I don't know if this is in the Bible, but I've always heard it. I'm just going to say it. God gives his strongest warriors the things that they could handle compared to other people. And I know I butchered that, but it's along those lines.
God gives you what you handle. Yeah.
I
was just about to say
and that's
that,
what I was saying earlier, is like, I am probably the only person that could have went through that and came out to the extent, still going to business meetings, doing this, still trying to be productive, nothing.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, that's insane.
I mean, I want him to tell you, because me is different, right? I mean, it's my word, but he was there. He's seen it in right after the fact. He was in the car talking to me when I was going through it mentally. Like, there was other stuff that was happening in the same time period, like with the relationship itself that I was in, right? There was so much tension off of that situation. It was so bad. And I do want you to talk about it, if that's okay with you, because you have a different perspective. You could actually say like what you seen and how I actually grew from it and what changed, if that makes sense. So if you would please touch on that and kind of just say it, because I'm sure people will want to hear it as well. Because you were actually there. You were there for my birthday, everything. When my wife set up my first ever birthday party ever. I've never celebrated my birthday, never told anybody my birthday. It's never been a big deal to me, because every time it was my birthday, all I got was, and I'm so grateful for this too. And man, if that video ever pops up on TikTok, my 19th birthday of me just having a piece of paper that was printed and me having a photo album book that was half torn up, dude, that in itself is character.
That was for your 19th?
19th. That was when I was wearing the beanie. I was, right before COVID.
Yeah.
Heart of me dropping out, streaming and stuff. That was that year. That's when TikTok was blowing up. That's when Drake came out with like Tootsie Slide and all this stuff. So yeah. But from your perspective, elaborate a little bit, please.
I'm trying to remember, man. I mean, I couldn't believe anything that was happening. I mean, it was so much. It was back to back to back to back, event after event. Your grandmother passed. A couple months later, your mom passed. And then, situations personally, and then also on top with this now. So it's like, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, God is really testing him. And I said to myself, and I think I even told you, I was like, God loves you, because he's giving you all of these challenges, and you're still thriving, outside of that, showing up, being positive, and just, I don't know, man. I was like, I commend you for being so strong and like holding up through all of that, and just finding the light and everything. But it was scary, and I was, confused myself, because I was like, how could this happen? Like, I don't know. Like, it's never in a million years would you have thought that would have happened to you, It's just so random. I couldn't believe it though.
I might have lost for fucking words, bro.
Yeah, like literally, like
it's so like
it's just
That doesn't even sound like a movie. That just sounds like a fictional
like
BS
a book.
story. Yeah.
I don't know. It's
honestly,
it's
I
insane.
was, I think it was like Sunday or Monday, maybe. When did we get approved? Monday. I texted Nick and Devin. I was like, we need to get him on, because honestly, like, I'm barely gonna have time to fucking edit this. So Let's
Was
just get
this-
him on
was
as
this-
soon as possible. And
Was this for the first episode or for the second?
no, this one
Okay,
to plan this one out.
gotcha.
So I was like, I'm not gonna have time because I'm going to Galveston this weekend, and then we're moving in the next weekend. And I was like, that was the last thing. That wasn't even like I had a list of like 10 things, not for real, but like
And
and that shit was like 100. Like
No, that's
what I'm
saying.
What the fuck?
The worst of the worst.
And something that just from the little bit you've told us today, what I don't understand is how the hell, whether it happened or not, whether, because I know you didn't do it for sure. I can't speak for your uncle because he could have done it. We don't know. But how the hell did they pinpoint that? What about all these fucking celebrities who are doing that kind of shit too?
And that's what is even more crazy because they picked. My uncle stays at home all day, right? He's on fixed income. If you can understand the picture, he's getting
we got
government checks, right? He's on the game all day. He's watching movies, all this stuff. He's at home. I'm at work. But still, he does not do nothing. He does not interact with people, this, and this. Vice versa. I'm going to work. I'm coming home to see my wife and my son. I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to grow as an individual. I'm trying to make sure I'm financially set.
for your family.
And it felt like, and it still looks like it was like a targeted attack for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me too.
And like you said, there's really people out here that are really doing these things.
oh yeah,
100%.
more than we think.
Way more than you think, right?
Oh yeah.
And to have it happen to nobody's like us.
It's like,
Like I said,
why?
I cannot speak for him. I can only speak for myself.
Right.
I did not do this. He's at home all day. I don't know what he does. I'm at work. Like I said, it's up there. I mean, I
Yeah.
did not do it. So it's two things. Targeted attack or he did it.
Yeah, like you have the receipts.
Yeah.
Like you for
I
sure
have
did.
like,
the
not to paint a
receipts.
bad image on your uncle, but like looking at the facts, you know where you are 24/7. You're not home. You're not there. You don't even have the option to do that if you wanted to. He's there all day.
Yeah.
So the fact that they even would look at you in that scenario
It's so
Yeah.
is
crazy to me.
insane to me.
It's so fucking stupid.
That's what I'm saying. And
Another confusing thing, you mentioned it earlier, like all the paperwork and stuff was like there was typos and your name was misspelled.
Yep.
So it's like, how do you get that wrong?
so and that's what I brought up to my attorney. He was like, "That's yeah," but he's like, "It happens all the time.
Oh.
All that stuff is normally just copy and paste, anyways."
Mhm.
Gotcha.
I mean, it is, but I mean, the name part you can at least get that right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Was it your first name or your last name?
it was my middle name, but my uncle's name was like his whole name,
They
Huh.
misspelled it.
the whole thing.
Did
So-
they misspell everything in his name?
Well, yeah, because he's a junior, but they spelled his name wrong. They didn't do it right.
That's weird,
It
bro.
that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. And then in the first like couple of paragraphs, it talks about what they can take and what they're supposed to take. First thing says webcam. They left the webcam
See that's
on the
throws me off,
table.
man.
It was right. They took the
And you
monitor.
would think that would be one
and they
thing
did-
that they would take.
That is the. I don't know how this stuff works, right? I don't know if they can look at stuff, what time, blah blah blah
oh
blah blah.
yeah.
They definitely,
Why take a monitor,
but not.
but not the
Bag.
thing that's on top of it that's connected that actually sees you?
Why take
And you
the
know what I'm saying?
monitor?
Like that doesn't make sense in itself, and that's just one of the many things.
Oh, the monitor seems like
yeah, why
the
take
last
the
thing.
why take
Yeah.
the monitor at all?
Didn't they take your headset?
They took my headset. They took my Xbox controller. They left the PS5 controller.
Sounds like they just wanted a game.
Yeah.
Dude.
But they don't fuck with controller. Don't mouse and keyboard only.
Yeah.
But no, that's insane.
And like I don't know exactly what your dad does, but you're familiar with stuff like this, right? I mean, you live close to some things, and you normally, and maybe I don't know, everybody can tell most of the time people that actually do this
Mhm.
look a certain way. I hate to say that, but it's true. Weirdos,
They act.
they
their
just act
personality
differently.
is different.
Exactly. But not to say any of that because I don't want to judge nobody or anything like that, man, because that's just wrong. But it was it is a story to tell in the future. It is a
Shit,
story
you're
that
telling it now.
well, that's what I'm saying. But it's when I'm really capturing the audiences and stuff. It's a
Mhm.
story that separates me. It does.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that in a negative or like an egotistical way, but who do you know that's happened to?
Dude, nobody.
Exactly. And guess what I'm going to do? God did.
I did.
Give him the glory because I would not be here if it was not for him.
1,000%.
I would not. And like I said, it was one of the times where I got real, like I was reading verse for verse. I was writing verses down. I was like applying the verses, like to kind of go off what you're talking about, like reading the Bible and stuff. Read Proverbs or Psalms. Proverbs is really good. Yeah. Just throwing that out there. Proverbs tells you kind of the things you should do as a Christian. But there's plenty of them. There's plenty of verses. There's plenty of books that you can read. The book of Job. That was my Job season. And for those that are familiar with the Bible, you get the reference. Yeah. Job is in the Bible, in the book of Job. He is a wealthy man. He has everything he could ever want, family, cattle, everything. And then the devil goes up to God and asks him, let me test him, because Job is he's doing everything he's supposed to. He's
Is that
praying
Old Testament or
everything.
New Testament?
I think it's Old Testament.
Yeah, I believe it's
Don't
old.
quote me on that, but I think it's
thought,
old.
okay.
But he goes up to God and he's like, you cannot lay a finger on him or touch him, but you could change and touch everything, his situation.
Oh, yes. Okay, I know what you're talking
And
about now.
he does do that. He loses his family, his cattle, his his livelihood, everything.
Your story.
That was my Job.
Wow.
It's exactly what the devil does.
So, like I
Look,
said, I mean, it's
And it worked the other way around. He was trying to bring you down, and all he did was pull you.
and at the end
pull you up.
at the end, Job gets many, 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 many more blessings. Well, and that was right after my mom passing.
You
Sorry
weren't,
about your mom,
weren't
by the
even recovered.
Didn't even recover, dude. I kid you not, didn't even recover.
No time.
Well, I know your mom was everything to you. So
Dude, me and my mom, dude, we were locked in. Like Offset said it in one of his songs. When I grew up, my mom was my dad. That was my mom. She taught me everything. She gave 0 for 6, by the way. She taught me everything. She did the absolute best with the situation that she was dealt.
yeah, dude.
Every single time. Might not have much, but I'm so grateful, and I know she's in heaven right now with her mom, and they're looking down on me, and hopefully they're happy with me and stuff. And I'm not perfect, but it's she did amazing. And at the time, to kind of at the time, we don't get why they do what they do and this and this and this, but I'm so appreciative and grateful that she did what she did to me, because I would not be the man I am without her, 100%. So yeah,
Gotta love moms.
and once
Moms
they're
are crazy, bro.
once they're gone, bro, I did it, and given this, I never lost any family members until my grandma, and that really didn't hit as much. Like, it hit, don't get me wrong, but my mom got hit way harder because that was her mom,
Right.
and I didn't understand where she was coming from sometimes, because we were in my Toyota, and we would listen to her song, a Lauren Dingle's song. Excuse me if I say her name wrong. We would play it on just to kind of remember her, and she would just break down in tears. And it was one of the times where she was just sobbing and crying. She's like, I miss my mom. I want my mom back. Because they were the same way. Same way. And I didn't understand it at the time, but when I lost my mom, I got it. And I have a post that, I could share, if you want to put it on whatever. I know you're not going to have time or whatever, but
No.
it's a post that me and her went to Chipotle, and I took a photo and I say, day one, love yours while it's here. It's probably one of the most cherishable photos I have of her.
I mean, yeah, if you want to put it in, just send it my way.
Sure. It's day one, love them while you're here. It's 0 for 7. God,
This is insane.
y'all are
That one was rigged.
y'all need to get in the
That one was rigged.
gym, bro.
Yeah, I know y'all saw that. Like,
But
come
no,
on.
yeah, man. I'm
I'm sorry to hear everything you went through, but right now I'm happy for you.
Mhm.
That might sound messed up, but I mean, I think you're doing good now. I mean, you got through it. You're getting through it. The devil's testing you. God's loving you. And I mean, you know it yourself. You're gonna do great. It's gonna work out. God's there for you, and will always be there.
I appreciate that, Devin. Like I said, it was like I said, everything works out in His will,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is for His will, and you know He's gonna use me as He sees fit, and I wouldn't want anything else than that. So it's He gets the glory, man. That's to give you the backstory of why I didn't have the electronics, and that was that reasoning.
Well, you mentioned that Nick will be able to see how much you've grown since then. I want to say, man, I know we haven't talked in a very long time before last Thursday, but Tuesday? I don't know, whenever we shot it. But no, dude, you're a completely different person. I don't know if that was just from these last few months or if that was in total of the what was like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
since we've
the
spoken,
last
but-
time we spoke, dude, it was
2.5 maybe.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Like actually, like you guys seen me when did I even have my car at the time? I think I did the last time you guys seen me. I just got my Toyota, the
think
silver
so.
one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been a while, and from that point, like I said, I already was growing at a certain level, but just to tie it back to the first episode, no matter what situation you are against, whatever you're going through, you're supposed to be going through it because it's the journey. It's going to help mold you to be the person you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of stuff just, it played not in the best way at the time, but it definitely built who I am right now. It gave me perspective. It gave me the appreciation, the mentality, all the beautiful things and all the things that I needed to know in order to be to where I need to go.
In kind of a fucked up way, it really set you up for success.
It did. And that's what I'm saying. There sometimes, and I'm hard-headed, right? Let me just say this. I know what I need to do, but I'm not going to do it until something really severe happens. So maybe that was that severe case.
Right.
Because now look at me. I mean, like, I'm not doing incredible things like I know I'm going to be yet, but I'm working there.
The discipline is there.
The discipline's there. The understanding that in order to get to where my vision is, to the finish line, I have to do these things.
So, do you think it was the fear of losing it all that pushed you to that, or do you think it was something else?
I don't think it was the fear of losing it all. I think it was, like I said, my irrational fear, not living up to my potential.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what really it was, because like I said, I don't really know. I mean, maybe it was at a point in time, but also I don't believe so. No.
Or do you think it was God? Just the fact that pushed you to God,
And
that helped. Of course,
normally when you
obviously,
go
as
to
well.
God, everything
Mm-hmm.
goes the way it should. And I mean, God knows that my intentions at the time. He knows, he knows everything. And looking back on it, it's probably the beginning. It was the fear of losing it all, not being in my son's life,
Mm-hmm.
not having a father figure like I didn't have a father figure. But given at that time when this all happened, I was not doing much other than stuff with, Nick and Hunter, and that was it. I didn't work for a little bit of time because I couldn't. It got to that point. So it grew me closer to God, and when you're close to God, anything's possible.
Yeah, big things happen.
Big things happen.
You're not scared when you're with God.
No, dude. And because when I look at it this way, is like the fear of losing it all. Man, we're all gonna lose it one day. We're all gonna pass away. We're all gonna, go to the other side. The whatever you believe in.
The thing is, if you have God, you will never lose it all.
Exactly. It's only gonna get even more
You
abundant.
can lose everything, but you'll still have God.
And people will bring up the argument that, well, what if he's not real? Well, I'd rather live my life knowing that he is real and trying to do what he wants me to do, because if he is real, I win. You don't. You didn't have faith. You did not believe in him. So if he is real, then there's a hell. Where do you think you're going, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that in a negative way or like a scare tactic.
That's just fact.
I mean, it's-
facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
why? Cool. Everybody believes in something. But if it's to that extent where he is a creator, he created all. If I'm believing in him, and who knows? I don't know, right? Nobody knows. Because when you die, you die.
Mhm.
There's no coming back to tell the story. There's not. If he is real, I will be there. But if he's not, I'm going the same place you're going. You know, we're dead.
And if you
the
believe
dirt,
if you believe he's not real, you live your whole life with just an end.
And you know what's crazy? You say that?
That's a bar.
It's crazy you say that because when you don't believe in God, you're fear of death. Like you fear
Mhm.
you fear death. Like you fear dying. But when you have God, that goes away.
When you have God,
Because that
you
is a
fear
scare
God.
tactic the devil puts on you to do
Live
what
your
you need to
best
do.
life.
Exactly. To do
Yeah.
what he wants you to do. Because once that's gone, dude, I'll drive 120 miles down the highway. Not that that's smart. Don't do that, kids. But like, I'll do things that I wouldn't normally never do because I don't have that fear no more.
He
Yeah.
said 120, Nick.
Huh?
He
GT
said go
50.
one- He said go 120 down the highway.
I'm in my 2022 Chevrolet Equinox. Shout out Chevy.
Dude, I was freaking driving my mom to Conroe yesterday, and I drive a 2010. She has a 2018, bro. She was so mad. She'd be like, "You're on 100." I'm like, "Fuck, am I?" I didn't even notice. Couldn't even feel it. I was like, "Oh shit, let me slow down."
But yeah, to answer your question to the audience, if you guys were wondering, the people that actually did watch, we appreciate you. That was the reasoning. I mean, it sounds like a movie. Sounds like it's fake. You know,
I wish it was, bro.
It-
I wish it
Mhm.
was for your sake.
yeah. And like I said, there's no word still to this day at all. Nor probably will there ever be a word at all because there's nothing to say against me.
Mhm.
Well, you were never arrested, so I guess
I was
they
never
can't
arrested.
even-
Nothing.
yeah.
There's nothing there. That's what I'm saying. There is nothing there.
Was
So
it might have been a glitch in the Matrix.
They had the IP address off by one.
Bro.
See, even then, I don't know how to check IP addresses still. So I don't even know if it was my IP address. I don't know. It
Mhm.
just said
Oh,
the IP address.
We'd have to go back to figure that out.
So-
But we probably shouldn't go back.
Nah, and like I said, that's the past, man. We're on to the future, the bigger and brighter things.
Yeah, 1,000%, bro.
So
Well, thank you for sharing, man.
of course, man. Like I said,
That's
it's
huge.
there's a couple parts in there bleeped, just names and stuff, and like little details, just because I don't want nobody knowing.
Yeah, you said it. Thank God you said it every single time. And if
Yeah.
you think of it, like I said, if you think of anything else, let me know.
But yeah, this is use this for what it is. Hopefully, this resonates, and hopefully, this brings people closer to
Touches
God,
some
and
people,
Yeah.
everybody has a journey. No matter what situation you're going through right now, it might seem hard at the time, but everything's for a bigger purpose.
Absolutely.
Never let it get to you mentally, because if you lose your mental, then you lose everything.
Yep.
You do. Mind's the most powerful tool in our arsenal.
God
Use
did.
it to the way that you're supposed to use it. Use it for good. Keep God first. Everything else falls into place. That's really all I got to say, man.
Simple as that.
I can keep going. I can talk for days. I'll be making a movie one day. I'm gonna hire my man Mauricio over here. He's gonna shoot the blockbuster. I'm gonna have Nick over there do the cut. Devin's gonna be in a Overwatch tournament.
Bro.
But
God
Yeah,
did,
man,
God
it's-
does.
God did, for sure. Any other questions you guys want? Like I said, I can
I
keep
don't
going,
even know
but
where to go from there.
I mean,
Jumping back on fear real quick because I was
Yeah, go
just
ahead, go
thinking
ahead.
about it. I really think when you have God, the only thing you should fear is God Himself.
100%.
It's a bar.
Why wouldn't you?
Just,
Why wouldn't you fear the one person that
should-
created the
you shouldn't even-
entire solar
the
system?
devil's not
and-
even there when you have God.
Dude, we're a piece of dust in his eyes.
Also a bar.
Do you think we have any authority over this planet that we're on right now?
No.
We don't.
We're here to do God's work, and
Hey, man,
that's
brother,
it, bro.
and keep on with the Bible, bro, because the more you seek, the more you find.
It's a struggle, bro. But
It is.
I've always
It
been.
is.
I can't read. Like I can't read a book. Like, it's super hard for me to read. So that's why I think that's.
Oh, go ahead.
Cause I think that's why I like to do it in the sauna because it's quiet. So I'm like blasting. I'm like my fucking headphones are blasting. Obviously, I'm like super concentrated, and then I'm like, shit, I have to go back.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it's like,
I,
but
wa-
it's such a struggle to read.
I wanted to ask you this because I didn't ask you this and it was in my head. What version of the Bible are you reading?
NIV.
Okay, that's dangerous.
Okay.
And I can show you right now if you have your phone, if you want to pull it up, a verse that's missing in that
See, I
Bible?
was
that's very powerful.
I
do,
was
New King James Version.
watching.
KJV.
Sometimes King James Version, straight up.
KJV is the best way to go and the only way to go, man.
Oh, he's
I
still
I
reading.
bounce back and forth because if I don't
I just
understand
because
it,
this is the one that was just on there. So which? Oh, okay. So what
So
verse is it?
go to Matthew.
Yes, 22, right?
So you already know this.
I've heard of this.
Okay.
I've heard Georgchenko.
Yep.
He was the one that brought it up,
Yep.
and I was like, shoot, I don't know which version he is. What verse is it though?
It's Matthew.
Chapter 22, right?
here I got.
No, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's Matthew 18, but it's verse 22 is
Oh,
missing.
verse 22.
I got
I believe so because it goes 21 and then it goes.
Right.
It's like
Okay.
it skips.
18, 22.
But
I got KJV.
This is where the enemy plays as well, and this is how this goes high
no,
up.
this one has 22, so it's not 18.
What is
Jesus answered, "I tell you, not 7 times, but 77."
yeah, so
times.
do it's in 19 or 20, one of those two. Matthew 20, I believe, or something like that. But it's a verse that's very powerful and it's about fasting.
Yes.
And the story goes that Jesus, there was
Oh,
a
that
person that
22.
was, going through an exorcism or had demons in them, and the apostles, they were trying to cast the demons out of them, right?
I'm just gonna go through all of Matthew because I can't
And
find it.
pretty much what happens is they couldn't do it, and then
Is it
Jesus comes
a
over.
fig tree.
No.
Does that sound familiar? Fruit.
No. Yeah, Jesus comes over and he literally says the reason why you couldn't do it is because you didn't pray. I mean, you didn't fast or fast and pray. Like I said, I'm not quoting it,
See,
but
because that
that's
was the thing. Because I remember George saying that, and I was like, "Well, I guess it's not my version," because I remember reading that. But maybe I'm tripping,
Yeah.
or maybe it was just I was going off the knowledge
could
that I
probably
already
find
knew.
it. I don't have my phone. Never mind. But if you want, I can look for it for you. I mean, I'll probably find it because I think it's like
You can just
18 or
look.
so. Let me see.
I checked 18 through whatever I'm on right now. I didn't go backwards from 18 though.
But while it looks for it, there's a book that even you, Matt, I think you should really try to read it. It's called Muscle and a Shuffle, but it's just a really good book.
If it's I can do audiobook,
It's
but,
probably
like-
it's probably an audio book.
but I have to audiobook it and like physically read it.
I read
What's it
it.
about?
It's how does it start? I think it's a younger guy, and it's just about his journey with God, and it's just his whole I mean, he didn't have God at all in his childhood. He was crazy, and then he finally found God. It's hard to explain, but it's just a really good book.
Okay.
My mom had me read it, and I mean, I hate reading. I didn't really want to read it, but I read it because my mom kept telling me to read it. She gave me the book, and then I mean, once first chapter in, man, I read like 10 chapters that night,
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
and then I finished it probably that week.
Was this recent?
I found it. Perfect.
Which one is it? What's the
So
chapter?
Matthew 17, and I'll read it off just so you guys can see it. And
For
it
sure,
just
for sure.
so you know, it says 20 and then 21's blank.
Let me.
And then if you want, you can
double
read it.
So 21. Okay, yes.
21
I
is
remember.
gone.
I remember seeing this and being like,
21
what?
is gone, completely gone.
Okay.
So
here
for
you
those
go.
that don't know,
I
please
remember,
make sure
Howbeit,
you
this-
look at your Bible, no matter if it's on the phone or physical copy. Matthew 17, verse 21 is not supposed to be missing. So verse 20 says, he replied, well, I'll just go to 19.
I can read 21 for you when you get there.
Okay. I'll just go 18 to 20 real quick, just so you have a little bit of background. Jesus rebuked the demon and it came out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Then the disciples came to Jesus in private and asked, why couldn't we drive it out? He replied, because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. And this is in NIV. So go ahead and read
Verse
21.
Howbeit, this is King James Version, so it's old. Howbeit, this kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting.
Prayer and fasting are the two
So-
most important things any Christian can do.
what's the best version then? Because
KJV. And it's hard to understand. It's
well, that's the problem. I'm
I'll
retarded.
I'll bounce back to New KJV
do I
because
don't
it's
know.
about the same. It just helps like the words like goeth and stuff, it just makes
Yeah.
it go.
And when you get to a certain point, you understand
but that's
what
part
word
of
means what.
reading the Bible is you compare these
Exactly.
versions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you
But-
don't know what the truth really is, so you have to figure it out yourself.
Unless it's KJV.
It's crazy that they take these things out and change the wording and stuff like that.
Unless it's Hebrew.
Well,
So-
it was actually written in
Aramaic.
Thank you. I can
Yeah.
never say that word. Because one thing that I was, well, I don't know if I want to hit it now, but I know we're super soon trying to see cursing, how that relates in the Bible and biblically and Christianity and stuff. Because I have a potty mouth, and we're talking about that, and then you sent the Girls Gone Bible stuff, and I was reading some stuff, and it was like, well, actually in the original version they actually use this word, which means this, and I'm just like, oh, well, look at that. So I don't know if we want to hit that today. If not, I'll hold it, but.
I'll say one thing, and if you don't want to touch on it anymore, we'll go on.
ahead.
There's a lot of different verses that say about that subject. I'll say this: the tongue is capable of life and death. I'll keep it at that.
Oh my god, can we just touch on it then?
I gotta do my research, bro.
Okay, we'll wait. We'll
I
hold
gotta
it.
do my
We'll hold.
research. I was
Hold,
hoping to
hold,
do
hold.
it today, but
The
Come on,
tongue
man,
is
come on.
capable of life and death.
I'm working on it.
Me too. Yeah, I'm not even done
I'm
with it
trying to
either.
get deep into that.
Did you ever watch that video that I sent? The Girls Gone
I
Bible?
did. I watched most of it. I forget why I didn't finish it, but Well.
That brings a smile to my face too, because at one point in time, there are girls. They're talking about the oh, sorry, my bad.
you can just move it back. It's cool.
At one point in time, they were nobodies, right? They just started reading the Bible, and then they all blew up, reading the gospel.
Girls Gone Bible.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know anything about
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like they literally came up on TikTok everywhere in snap of a finger, and they're just reading the Bible, podcast wise, right? And they're kind of explaining like kind of the scriptures or whatever, what they take from it. But it's funny because no matter what
Mhm.
generation, what of these preachers that are still here, like the Billy Grahams, all this stuff, they are here because they're speaking the truth, the only truth, God's
God's word.
word, and it will be here for generations. Like Billy Graham, I mean, I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's
I
probably
don't.
the most famous. He passed away, unfortunately, rest his soul. But if you speak God's word, people will listen.
100%.
That's why, and I'm not saying this is why, but George Janko, people thought he was whatever. God put him in a position to get in an interview with Andrew Tate. Look at him now. Changed his whole
Yeah.
career. Everybody loves George Janko now.
So, I don't know how much you watch him. I don't know how much you keep up with Cliff. I personally love Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff's nice, bro.
Again, I was talking to my brother about it. I was like, we really need to go take a trip down to Connecticut. And I'd love to go to his church, but I just wish he live streamed it because I don't have a church to go to. We can touch on that because we mentioned churches in the
Mhm.
last episode, and you were like, we'll get on that later, and we never got on it. We'll touch on that for sure. But Cliff mentioned in the letter that Peter wrote, I can't remember what book it was in, but he said, the things I do, or the things I want to do, I don't. And the things I don't want to do, I do. I don't know how familiar you are with that,
Yep.
but I would love to get your opinion on it because like obviously behind closed doors, the only person that knows what we're really doing is God. And people have mentioned like the verse where he goes, "You love me with your lips, but not with your heart." And I remember whenever I was
Bar.
watching Georgianko talk about that, I was like almost breaking down. Like I was at work, I cleaned with my grandma. I was like vacuuming, and I was like fighting back tears. I was just like, if that like,
Can you say it one
obviously
more time?
everybody relates to it in their own way, but
Can you repeat that one more time?
it says you love me with your lips, but not with your heart. Like you talk about it like you're this great thing, and Georgianko was like, I feel that way, and that's whenever Cliff mentioned things I don't want to do, I do, and the things I want to do, I don't. Or well, it's supposed to go the other way around, but yeah.
Yeah. So repeat your question. What are my thoughts on that?
Yeah, just what are your thoughts on that in general?
So
Both of those, either one.
I'll
doesn't
say
matter.
this because it's very true. I am not perfect, and I'm never going to stress that I'm perfect. I give praise to God. That's everything I do now, right? God did this, and this. But I am not perfect behind closed doors. I'm not probably doing something that God wants me to do. And that's the truth, right? And it talks about in the Bible, faith without work is dead. It's death, right? So if you have faith, but you're not doing works for God, your faith is dead. So that's why people are spiritually dead. They don't do the second half. And I'm a victim of this myself because I can sit here on camera in front of you guys and say, I'm this big Christian. I'm, all this stuff. At the end of the day, I got to humble myself and be realistic with myself because God knows this already. I'm not doing everything I can to really be in my religion as much as I can be, right? Nobody, I can't speak for everybody, but myself personally, I'm still cursing sometimes behind closed doors. I'm still, I'm human. I'm not perfect. Yes, God has changed my life, and I give all the glory to him, and I'm only here because of him. But I can be doing more. And to the Peter verse, our flesh is our biggest enemy. Spiritual warfare is our biggest enemy. Our flesh wants lust. We want to do this. We want to do what appeases the flesh. But that's all vanity. All this stuff, everything we do, and I think Peter says it, I don't know if it's in his verse or whatnot, it's like vanity of vanities. Everything we do is vanity. And it's hard to get past that. But that's where the relationship with God comes in because he died for us. He did the ultimate, sacrifice. Imagine, and I saw this on TikTok, and I don't want to misquote or anything, but the guy pretty much said, imagine, think of my example of what happened with the child pornography stuff. Imagine I'm innocent, or no, let's just say this. Let's just do a random example because I don't want to use that example. Let's say you kill somebody, and you're going to jail, or you're going to trial, and somebody that's innocent came out of nowhere and is like, hey, I killed him for him. But he didn't do it. You're like, oh, that's dope, right? That's the same context. Like, you have to, it's right now I'm having a kind of hard thought of getting it across. Because in my mind, I can make sense with it, but speaking is a little different. You have to be able to understand that that's where the relationship comes in. Like you have to know that, and God knows this, nobody's perfect. Because if we were perfect, we wouldn't need him.
Right.
Period. And we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna sin. We're gonna do what the flesh wants sometimes, most of the time, whatnot. But you have to go to him. It's you and him. It's the only thing it should be. You and him. You're reading your Bible. Keep reading your Bible. He will talk to you. He will give you visions. He will put stuff. He will plant seeds. Same thing for everybody else. Like it's Peter saying, and I do the same because this is huge about pornography as well. Like I used to watch pornography too much back when I was a virgin and all this stuff. And I was 19, dropped out of high school. I used to do that. I didn't want to because after I was done, I'm like, man, why did I do this?
I mean, yeah, the personal clarity always hits, right?
No, but I'm saying it was to a point where I did not want to do it, but my body is so used to it. And the dopamine, it's doing it. I'm doing it anyways. Like it was kind of like I did not have control over my flesh.
Right.
But, and that's another thing too. I just remember that, wow, that happened. It's a church incident. That I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it anyways. That's natural, right? Because our flesh is born of sin. Talks about it in the Bible. We're not perfect. Our flesh is sin. Vanity. You have to go to him, pray. That's where praying and fasting comes into play. That's why that verse is so important. That's why they don't want to show you that in some of the, Bibles. Because when you fast, well, what I say, what was the example? Do you remember the example I said when you fast?
Yes. It's
What
like
was
a tube.
Exactly.
And it clears out the tube.
It gets shorter and shorter, and now you're
Right.
like right here with them.
Yeah.
So if you're like this with God, you're not going to sin. Not.
So, because obviously I fast for dietary purposes, not for religious purposes. Because whenever you fast for religious purposes, you're not supposed to eat, drink anything, right?
So there's different ways of fasting. The way I do my fast is I don't drink anything, nor do I eat. And when I do anything in life, I do it to the extreme. I said this multiple times. I will not eat for a couple of days or drink anything for a couple of days.
That's crazy.
But that is me. Now, some people will do this. They'll fast for 12 hours, kind of like the actual fast where you don't eat for 12 hours and then you eat at one big meal or something. Or there's other times, and it's all in the Bible. Like I said, there's a fast where you can drink just water, liquid, but you do it for a week or however long. There's different ways of fasting. It's personalized to everybody. As long as you're doing it for his will and to show him that you're trying to grow in the relationship, that's all that matters. It could be just like I think it's Catholics or Baptists or something like that, where they do like the little Ash Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah, Catholic, yeah.
They fast for 40 days. So what they do is they stop going to Chick-fil-A for 40 days, or they stop watching their TV.
It's called a Lent. I grew up Catholic. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay.
I don't consider myself Catholic anymore, but I grew up Catholic. So yeah, it's called Lent, and you basically just give up one thing for 40 days, but something that you'll like. So when I was a kid, I used to do video games. So I wouldn't play video games for 40 days. Or my brother, whenever he was like barely an adult, he would do nicotine. He wouldn't vape, he wouldn't smoke, he wouldn't do anything like that.
Yeah. So that's a cool example of fasting, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't, and this is the conversation that a lot of Christians should have, because there's a lot of dividing in the church and stuff because of Catholic, Baptist, whatever denomination you are. I look at it this way. This Chick-fil-A really tore me up. I look at it this way. It's like, as long as we're doing it for God's glory, that's all that matters. You could have a different opinion. That is your right. I could have a different opinion. We don't have to worship the same God. It's as long as we have a conversation at the end of the day. That's what society does not do no more.
They don't. Yeah,
it's either their way or no way, literally. So, and like I said, the whole Ash thing, like I like the fact that they're fasting for 40 days. That's cool. 40 days is a long time. But Jesus did 40 days with no water, no food, no nothing in the desert. Talk about extreme.
That's, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's whenever him and they were like having that conversation,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I love that part.
Yeah.
That part was hard. Yeah, that part was hard.
Yeah, he was telling them, saying, I'll give you the world, I'll give you this, if you just, worship me, bow down. And then he was like, no, I will not bow down.
I got this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bow down.
That part was hard.
Yeah, it's...
What part in the Bible is that?
I don't know exactly.
I think it's in Matthew.
It probably, I don't know. Like I said, I read the Bible, but some things, and there's like thousands of pages, right?
For sure.
So you really correlate, like the book of Job, I can remember because I actually went through my Job phase. There's like Proverbs, there's certain not laws, but things that resonate with me, so I remember them. And like I said, I'm not the greatest, Bible influencer. I'm not a Cliff, I don't remember these at the moment. But the more and more I go, I'm 23.
Yeah.
He's however old he is, been doing it for X amount of years.
Right.
That's where that,
It should be in Matthew.
Yeah, I think
Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, they're all the same.
Yeah, it's in one of I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's
Same
very good. It's a very, very good
Same story,
verse.
different perspective.
Speaking of this, because Nick's not really talking to this, I kind of want to put him in this situation real quick.
Okay.
Have you been reading your Bible? Because last time, a while back ago, like when this all happened with my situation, you were you like got a Bible.
No, I haven't. To be honest, no.
It's been eating you?
Read my son.
Why is that?
Trust.
I don't know. I just haven't been.
What does Paul say? What did Paul say? Say it again. The
Paul?
verse. Yeah.
Paul Peter.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're good. I forgot. I don't do what I want to do, and I do what I don't want to do. Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know. Because I really thought I wanted to do when I started reading the Bible, I was like, no, I want a physical copy. I want to be able to carry it with me. I want to read it wherever I'm at. Dude, this is easy, bro.
Yeah.
It's easy. You can listen to it and follow along. I really like the dude's voice. He has a nice voice, and he distinctly changes it for whenever Jesus is talking, which is dope. So I don't know.
It's because I know I used to do the same thing, and I still kind of do sometimes. My main thing that I like that is because he actually pronounces the names and everything right.
Yeah,
there'd be like some names in there. I'm like Jabba Habba Dabba, and I'm like he'd be like Habba Habba Dabba, and I'm like, okay, that's how you say it. So yeah,
because some people out there saying job, bro, like
Job, Job. I didn't know it was Job. I used to say Job too.
I'm
so serious. Job.
Yeah, there was a name for real in there that I was like, that's not how you say that. Like he said it, and I was like, nah, that's BS,
Yeah, facts. But no, that's valid.
Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, something like that.
No, right. Because like,
3 people.
And I think that's why Genesis low key bored me so much, because there was those
all them big names.
Not even that, but it's just the chapters where it was just like, and this was the son of this guy, and this was the son of this guy who had this kid and this kid and this kid and this kid, and they had this kid.
Shemaiah,
I'm just like, it's kind of bad that we're fucking fun of
Yeah. No, I'm not, it's true.
No, yes, but it's just like I would be reading it. I'm just like, what is like genuinely? I'm so confused. I'm like, what is this doing for me? Like I like
And that. Go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say
pretty much
that,
done.
and that's where it's kind of like you have to go to where the Bible you understand, and you're kind of where you're at in the Bible first. Like, if I were to recommend anything, it would probably be Proverbs or Psalms
to start.
to start,
Interesting.
because it tells you and gives you the ways you're supposed to be living.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So knowing that first, then you're like, okay, well, why do I need to live like this? And then you go into Mark, all those people.
Sure.
But there's also different places you can go. You can go to like First Corinthians. There's so many books in the Bible.
You know what? I don't know. So did you start with Proverbs and
When I first got into it, I went straight to Proverbs.
okay?
Straight to Proverbs.
So I'm gonna finish the disciples. I'll jump to Proverbs,
Yeah.
and I'll let you know what my experience is.
Proverbs is long now. Long. Same as Psalms. But there's a lot of good stuff in that.
Okay, I'll jump there next. Bro.
A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff.
Like I said, I just started Luke. Luke is super short though.
Yeah.
Or was it? No, Mark was super short.
Revelation too. A lot of people. I mean, Revelation's kind of
Scary.
it gives you an idea of the end of what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want to, like I said, it depends. You do whatever you feel is right, because by you doing that, it's not you, it's the Holy Spirit or whatever. If you're trying to get into it, your gut, whatever you want to believe, do whatever you feel is right. If you
So-
want to start a Genesis, go ahead. But Shemaiah, Habaiah,
Yeah, I would not recommend that at all.
I'm not making fun of it, by the way. I just
No, it literally. that's what it
Shemaiah,
feels like.
Habaiah. It's those type of names. I'm like, dude, I ain't never heard that before.
Okay. Oh, okay. Question.
Sounding it out.
No, literally. Did you So what's with the years? How come in Genesis these people are living? Were they just measured differently, or were they just living that long?
That's how long they lived, because
BC.
so before Christ, whatever. I don't know details, but these people were living the way, and it kind of says in, was it Genesis? I think it is Genesis or something like that. In one of the first verses, it talks about how we're not supposed to be eating meat technically.
Right. Or
Um,
after a certain amount of time after the
correct.
thing's killed, right?
Not that's. I mean, when you go vegan, just to give it to like in today's world, you look better, your skin's glowing, you feel better, you live longer, whatever. But also back then too, everything was so at the highest level. Like the trees were huge, the tree of life, all these things that we probably needed that we don't have no more because of what happened, the Great Flood and everything. It's different. That's why there's bigger creatures and all this stuff back then, because there's more oxygen. Maybe I don't know.
My understanding with like that, for example, like the meat, you shouldn't eat meat or whatever after this amount of time and stuff. That's just because my understanding was just that's because the meat would get spoiled, so you would hurt your body. But now we have like fridges and stuff.
But that's
that
Old
keeps it-
Testament,
Well, that's
though,
what I'm
isn't
saying.
it?
Exactly. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That's why like tattoos are similar to that. Is like where you're hurting your own body and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but that was for different reasons that they did that compared to today.
And I should have brought my Bible, because a lot of this stuff too, I know, like I don't remember the verses, but I know where it's at. If that makes sense. Like I can go back to where I read it. I should have brought it, but it's okay. Maybe part 3. Anyways, yeah, but it's as 800 years or whatnot. I think it was another thing to kind of punish us as well. After we ate the fruit, Adam and Eve and stuff, and they kind of, I mean, even then they were still living 800, 600, 700, 900 years. But as he said, the reason why we kind of divided languages and stuff is because we got too smart. We were living too long. We had all the tools that we needed to do stuff that we were not supposed to be doing. And look what happens. It's Cain. Cain did his thing, and
W Noah though.
Dub Noah, yeah. Dub Noah.
Have you ever seen that movie? It's kind of like a comedy movie, but it's Steve Carell, but he's Noah.
No, I haven't.
I
What?
think it's like Noah's Ark.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yes, I distinctly remember seeing it, but not watching it.
I mean, it's kind of a funny movie, but it's still Noah's story, but in like modern times.
no, I haven't seen that.
It's kind of interesting.
What's it on?
You probably just saw it when it came out.
The movie was like 15 years ago.
If you guys do want to watch a good movie though, that kind of gives you an idea of like the before the Great Flood and stuff. It's actually just called Noah on Netflix.
I think
The one with
I think I've seen
like the
that.
action movie,
Yeah, I
think
don't know
I've
if it's
seen-
action, but
but the one with that famous actor.
yeah, I don't know his name.
I think
but
I
he's
saw that
famous.
in movie theaters for.
It's
Is it kind of
good.
old?
Yeah, it's kind
I
of.
mean, like 2010 era.
It
Yeah,
shows
was
like
old.
the guardians, like the angels are
Damn.
like rock creatures. and
Yeah, I
stuff.
did watch it.
Yeah.
I remember that. That's what the name
That's a
of
pretty
the
good
movie
one.
was. That
Yeah,
movie
it's
stuck
Russell
with me.
Crowe. That's who I was.
That movie
thinking
stuck
of.
with me so long because of those
Facts.
rock things, bro.
Yeah,
I watched that with my mom.
good stuff. And then how they all come because they know that God's talking to Noah, and they all these, humans are trying to get on the
One
ark.
of the
and,
one of the
yeah.
coolest things I ever saw was there's a Christian archaeologist that
Mm.
I mean he was an archaeologist because he wanted to prove the Bible, but he would go like he traveled all around and he would bring all his artifacts and stuff and he would just preach, but he would have these artifacts and he could go to the Bible, look at this artifact, and it's just like proof
pretty
right
cool.
there. It was just so cool to see. That's it.
Hey, I mean, there's a lot of things, man. God works in mysterious ways. God did, the receipts in the pudding.
What's your denomination?
I'm just a Christian.
That's non-denomination then.
I guess that's what it's called. I don't know. I'm just a Christian.
Me too, King.
I'm just a Christian, guys. I'm just a Christian.
Dude, what? You don't have to take me to church one time with you.
All right, cool.
I don't know. I just find another one because if y'all don't mind hopping on that.
I need.
Oh,
I need to.
wait. What do you mean?
I need to
Churches,
go to
churches.
church.
Oh yeah. So, like I said, there's a lot of these churches that are mainstream, like these mega churches, that are quite literally like, and I don't know specifics, but there's a lot of, like I said, when you get into your faith, you start to notice things, a lot of things. A lot of these mega churches, they're not churches you want to go to because they're
I-
doing it for the wrong reasons.
I don't believe in them.
They're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah, like they're doing it just for money. They make a business out of the church, which is not the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it's the truth.
No, I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that
To an extent, I think.
not saying
but
that the pastors can't live off, because that's their job. That they're supposed to be in the Word of God and stuff. But
Mhm.
there's like my pastors, they don't take a single dime from any of the offerings. They go straight to the church. They
Mhm.
still work regular jobs. And he just graduated, archaeology school and stuff like this. And,
That's the what?
like
the hell?
he's,
Our preacher he was a rocket scientist basically at A&M.
Yeah.
You can see it too. That dude.
smart.
So he would bust out big words you'd never hear.
Yeah.
And then he'd like have to catch himself and dumb it down.
Yeah.
But
He was hitting those names.
Shemaiah.
he was.
Hebadiah. No, but Hebadiah did.
Jambalaya.
I'm pretty certain those are names that are in the verses.
1000%.
Hebadiah. For some
No.
reason that's just sticking in my head. I
No,
think it is.
legit. No, you're 1000% right.
But like the different churches, and this ties to people having a negative outlook on Christianity because of the one time they did have an interaction, it was negative.
Well, did I ever tell you what happened to my church? Why I stopped going to that one? So I do this.
Mhm.
So we were. It was a child church, I guess, of a mega church, and he was. We didn't have a building. We were just renting this room out from Sam. So he was like, "Hey, I want you to help me out with all the video stuff and things like that." And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure, I got you, bro." So I started helping him. Don't get me wrong. I kind of fell out of love with it because then it felt like a job. It was like, okay, I'm only going to do this. And then fast forward about a year of doing it. It was like 11 months or like 10 months. And at my job, I worked at a donut shop at the time.
Mhm.
And he would like go there to get like donuts and then give it to him for free because he was a pastor that they liked or whatever. So I got accused of stealing from the tip jar. Like to the point to where she was like, "Hey, you're stealing." And I legit like started joking with her and she was like super straight face. I was like, "Oh, you're believing what the people are saying, but your best fucking employee, you're believing what they're saying about them." So I was like, so she told him. And my mom was talking to my pastor and she was like, so what do you think of what do you think of Mao, And he was like, fuck, what did he say? Oh, it just escaped my mind. Oh, he was like, oh yeah, you don't really like. I don't really know him like enough yet. After knowing me for 4 years and working for you for free for a year, you're gonna say that about me? Are you serious? Just because you heard what this person told you?
What did he say? You like really don't know
He's like,
a
you don't really
person?
know a person. Like, I don't really like know him like that, dude. We used to go to like lunch after church together. Like, really? So that's why I stopped going.
Yeah, that's terrible. Sorry that you had to go through that, but
I was so mad, dude.
I would have been. That's pretty bad, especially your pastor telling you that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll say this because churches, excuse me, I'm a little congested. Finding a church can be very difficult because a lot of people want to, and it should be this way. Don't get me wrong. They want to go to a church for the first time and have a good experience. But most of these churches, they don't feel welcomed. And they have a bad experience, right? They don't understand. They don't understand why people are talking and stuff. Because like when I first experienced like the Holy Spirit in the church, I did not blink for 10 minutes. I'm so serious. Like I was like, and my wife was like, at the time, she was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I was like, wow, like what is this?
You didn't understand, did you?
I didn't understand it because I've never seen anything like that.
Interesting.
So, but that's situation. I was like actually seeing something happen, and that we can go into that too because that was actually everybody praying for one person and a demon came out. Like they puked all over the floor,
Oh, what the hell?
everything. Like it was the lights flickered. Like seriously,
That's kind of scary.
no, and like I said, there's different levels to this stuff, but
Mhm.
they have a bad experience. They don't want to go back. They're like, well, that didn't serve me. I'm not going to go. Same thing with people that are, they have an open mind, but the wrong person comes along
Hmm.
saying the wrong things, giving a bad impression of God. So then that turns them away. So a lot of people, especially these people that are actually trying to spread the gospel and actually do some good in the world, they're going against people that already shut off and made their mind up because they've had bad experiences. Like, well, why should I do this? Like this person that was just like you, because everybody has a connotation that we're all the same person. We're all the same. We're supposed to be in that sense, but the way you talk and the way you might come across to somebody else is different from the way that Devin comes across, right? And you got to be very understanding and speak in a way that they can understand it. Very, very simple. And there, I forget his name. I wanted to shout him out or whatever, but there's this young kid, like 19, 20 years old, that literally just goes around in LA, these, rallies, LGBTQ and all this stuff, and just has literally a conversation and
I know
makes them, he's blonde hair,
Yep.
makes them feel like a genuine conversation, not pushing anything. He's like, hey, can I have 2 minutes of your time to, teach you the gospel, spread the gospel? And the way he talks about it is to perfection, but he's having the Holy Spirit talk, and that's how it should be. Now, when you're somebody that's not at that point, because I'm sure it was a journey for him to get there. It just doesn't happen like that.
Mhm.
These people don't understand that, so they're just pushing. Well, if you don't go here, you're gonna go to hell. Like my first experience, I could talk about this. You can bleep her name out. We were in like 7th grade German class. I didn't grow up religious.
Mm-mm.
She was like, "Do you go to church? You believe in God?" I said, "No." She's like, "Why don't you? You're gonna go to hell." And she's like, "You should go to church. Or you're gonna go to hell. You should go to church. Or you're gonna go to hell."
Right, because like on one hand, it's like she's kind of right because you do have to accept him, but you shouldn't say it that way.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
she didn't give any context. She told me what was gonna happen. This, and this in the most harsh way. She wasn't gentle with it. She didn't give me anything to understand.
There
the
was
process.
a lady at my mom's church that, in a way, I couldn't stand her. She was basically just like that, and she would almost say it to a person we've never seen before coming in and be talking to him, and she'd just say blatant stuff like that. She'd be like, "Where you been? You're gonna go to hell." But I mean, everyone knew, so other people would go hop on it before they'd be like, yeah, go over there. Stop. Because she just, I don't know what it was about her. That's just how she is. She's just a talker, and will just, like, she doesn't mean, she has good intentions. She just doesn't come out right
Doesn't
of
know
her.
how to get it
Does it
across.
the wrong way.
Because that's part of the reason my brother stopped going to church. It was her.
Oh wow.
He cannot stand her. And I mean, it's even, he can't stand to see her in public because she'll go up to him in public and be like, why are you not at church? You need to be here. You're going to go to hell.
Yeah, and that I can talk about that personally too, because the church itself, the people that go to church, the people that think they're doing, like, I don't want to say this in because that sounds wrong. The people that go to church, they're the harshest critics amongst other Christians and other people. But in reality, they're not doing any better themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is, use my wife for an example, not to give specifics or anything, but you know, we all have our journeys, and she was raised in the church, but there's a point in time where she was not walking a holy life, a Christian life, and the church and parents were like, "Hey, like, you know, not doing what they're supposed to do. Like, it's okay. Like, I understand. Like, you know, not being there. They weren't being gentle. They were like, why aren't you going to church? You're going to go to church. You're supposed to go to church. You're supposed to, you know, just blabbing and throwing it out there. And that takes people backwards. It doesn't take them forward.
I've seen that happen a lot
doesn't.
at my church before,
And
actually.
like I said, God will save the people. The one person out of the 100 other, you know, 100 people, he's going to save one, because that one person is actually seeking him. And, you know, long story short, she's doing great. She's doing whatever, but it's the journey. Like, what I'm trying to say is, if you go to a church, be cautious. If you have a bad experience, go again. Because my first time I went to the church I went to, the Spanish church I still go to, I didn't like it. I was there just to please my girlfriend, just to be honest.
Yeah.
And then when I first saw that experience of something like that happening, I'm like, whoa, this is real. Then it all just
Do you think-
snowballed after that.
So do you think that was that fear of God? Or do you think it was just because you said like, wow, this is real, and then you said it was because of a devil or a demon, sorry.
Yeah, so
Getting out of there,
it
but-
was kind of just like, well, damn, this is true.
Yeah. Like
Really?
maybe this is like
And the truth will set you free. When you see stuff like that, you see that other world, that other, you know, this stuff people talk about, and you're like, oh, that's whatever. And you actually see it for the first time. Like, if there was an alien right there and we all seen it, what are we doing? We're gonna be like, what the hell is that? Freaked out, right? Because we don't understand. We don't know what that is. Like, it could just be like a shadow figure, but it's still gonna be creepy or, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with
Yeah.
church. So when I seen it, it was just like, whoa, this is real.
Or-
Now I'm like, okay, well, if I seen this is real. I need to actually do something about it.
I think it can happen to a lot of people sometimes, is they'll go to a church for the first time, and then just the lesson the preacher happens to be preaching is just a really hard lesson,
Yep.
like something nobody wants to hear, and so they hear that the first time, and they're just like, oh, they don't want me to be who I am. They don't, just something like that, and so they just don't go back because they didn't like what they heard. They want to hear something they like what they hear,
Mm-hmm.
which
That's
you don't want to hear what God says most of the time. It's not how you want to live a fun life.
Yeah.
I mean, so they never go back because they're
Yeah.
like preaching marriage or preaching something different things like that, and then they just
Also, as well, to add on top of that is, you'll hear a lot of the same preachings from pastors and stuff. But I'll say this, no matter if it's your first time going, if it's your fifth time going, it is directed towards somebody in that church. There's a reason why he is saying that. It's not an accident.
I would get that firsthand because we would always go to lunch after church and stuff, and different people every time would be like, "Could you preach a lesson about this next week?" And they'll be like, "If so and so's here," and then they don't come, so they don't preach that lesson because they're saving it for when that person will come just for them.
Yep.
And I think I've had a couple of them just for me when I was still going.
And I'll use myself as an example real quick. I go to a church that I don't understand the language. I'm not understanding anything that's going on other than presence, right? And I was to the point where I was like, hey, babe, I want to go to a church that I understand, that I feel like my time is being worth it here, right? Because there was a point in time where that happened. And I kid you not, we have 3 pastors. So we have the main pastor and his wife, they preach, and then we have the deacons. So we have the husband and his wife. And normally his wife, the deacon's wife, she doesn't really preach that much or whatever, but she preached that day. And I kid you not, I just had this conversation before we went to church, not knowing anything, whatever. She didn't know anything either. And what happens?
English.
She's translating in English as she's preaching.
Whoa! Wow.
I'm like, dude, that is the sign. If I had to say so myself, like I looked at my wife and I'm like, and she's like, that's crazy. Like it's like God reaffirming that I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm supposed to be there. Just that one little interaction, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. Like that one little situation that you would have no idea or wouldn't have any significance, that was meant for me. And I'm getting goosebumps because that small little thing of her translating. When I just had that conversation, I was ready to move, go somewhere else. She translates. That's just to show God he listens to us. He listens to us. He knows what we need, what we want. He's there every single step of the way. Just got to open your heart to him and let him in. Everything goes from there, man. So just wanted to share that. I mean, that's a pretty good thing we can end it off on, but.
Sorry, yeah, it's
Yeah.
30 minutes past my bedtime.
That's all right. Yeah. I know
But,
it was kind of late.
That was good. I soaked in a lot, man.
Yeah, you didn't really talk too much today, but that's okay sometimes.
Yeah.
I really, I didn't talk too much either, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
Part 2,
guys,
Part 3.
part 2 of episode 87, 3-year anniversary was last week, right?
I think it's actually today.
Today, 3-year anniversary. Honey Bet this
Not when this
Gehen.
episode comes out, but literally today.
Today is the 3-year anniversary, part 2 of Suits/Christians episode. You guys are hating, but what is Chew doing?
He's doing
What
all
is
that.
Chew
He's
doing?
doing all this shit for us. Like,
Peace. Oh, sorry.
That's it. Yeah.
That was good.
That was good.
That was good. I
hey,
enjoyed that.
I really appreciate you.